Hello, people of the internet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy Thursday to you all. This one's a little bit kind of out there in a way that we're doing this release very much out of order. So, before we get started, hello to all the wavies out there. Welcome to the album listen for tripleS's latest debut with the newest subunit Crystal Eyes and their aesthetic EP. Now, typically when it comes to debuts like this, we would spend one video where I would kind of explain what this group is, how it's a debut, we'd go over the K profiles, check out the members, try and learn a little bit about them, maybe figure out positions and things like that if those are out there already. Watch the MV, talk about the MV, and if we decided that we're going to go even further with it on a separate video, we'll do the rest of the album that the title track was on. But thanks to a production delay in the MV for this release, we're just going to go straight into the album listen. Because, well, for time reasons, because this month is extremely busy and I would rather not fall behind on a release if I can help it. So we're going to check out the entire aesthetic EP from start to finish, including the title track, and whenever the MV drops, we're going to do a separate video on that. It's the usual structure when it comes to K-Profiles, Deep Dive, the MV, the Ramble, and so on and so forth. We're just going to do this out of order. Hopefully you can bear with me on that. I'm very much excited for it. tripleS are a project and just a group in general that I haven't followed from the very beginning. I followed their music from the beginning, sure, with Acid Angels from Ancient Generations was a great song, great debut. The 10-member Rising, I guess, tripleS debut was also really good. We checked out the EP for that as well. That was a great time. And yeah, now we're on the third debut of their tripleS project. And, of course, leave it to Jade and Jung to have a very intricate and complex debut program because it was the mastermind behind, Idare Sonia, Luna. And so, this isn't too far out of left field for him, but I'm still excited nonetheless. Like, especially with this unit, and very recently I've been excited about tripleS. Interestingly enough, one member in particular from tripleS has really got me interested in the group. We'll talk about her when we get to a specific song. But apart from the fact that there's another four members and that Crystal Eyes have been, I feel like, mentioned a little while ago. It just took a little while for them to get a proper release out. The only thing I know is that they're a four-member subunit, and that's about it. Don't know what the concept is going to be, don't know what the songs are going to sound like. Avoided every single spoiler up until this point. The only thing I know is that one of the songs has a composition credit that I'm very much interested in. Apart from that, don't know anything about it. So, we're over on Spotify because lyric videos are not out yet. Lyric distribution videos are not out yet, but that is okay with me. I will eventually learn the tripleS members' names. Not just Crystal Eyes, but everyone. I will eventually figure them out. One day, though. I'm gonna be referring to this screen, I feel like, a little bit when we're recording this. I have the album credits on the screen over here below the webcam that I'm using for recording the face. Hello, internet. So you'll see me refer to this screen a lot. And yeah, we'll do this how we normally do album listens. So if you want to skip ahead to a certain song, timeline below is going to be chapter based off of whatever we're listening to, all 9 yards. If this survives content ID, it'll be on YouTube. If it doesn't, it's going to be over offsite on the P Cloud. If you're new around here, that's how we usually do things around here. If you're in it for the long haul like me, welcome aboard. Let's jump right in with the intro track, Cherry 100. I see Mono Tree. I do see Mono Tree. Okay. No lyrics, so possibly an instrumental only intro. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Composition by Yoon Jong Sung. Piddly Mono Tree. Keyboard Piddly formed by Yoon Jong Sung. Okay. Yoon Jong Sung and Piddly of Mono Tree. Sounds like a plan to me. Here we go. chiptune was not what I expected here. Okay, that was... What just happened? That was an entire roller coaster and a half. It felt just like riding on a roller coaster. You slowly built up, you get this huge kind of rush, you get little twisties and the spirals, and before you know it, it's over. That was wild. Because we got like a really nice, almost like video game or anime like ending type of beat, especially once that bass started picking up, and then we went chiptune, like proper 8-bit video game chiptune sounds, and that caught me way off guard. Like that is not the direction I expected a song like this to go. And frankly, as an intro track, this is really interesting because I don't know what direction this was setting up for. And that kind of ambiguity for the rest of the album has me very intrigued indeed. But, you know, very short instrumental opener sets the tone, I think. We'll see if there's any tie-ins to that intro track across the album, but, you know, I like the start of it. It's a little bit atmospheric, it's a little bit almost magical, like fanciful in a way. It's also very much rooted in that kind of electronic EDM-y vibe, and I like that. I like that combination. So that's Cherry 100. Next up, Cherry Talk, the title track. I know there's been showcase stages and like, was it M Countdown on Thursdays? I forget, but there's been stages for it already. Of course, you know, copyright and things like that. We'll just keep it on Spotify. But Cherry Talk, lyrics by Yellow, Kwon Jin of Mono Tree, Jaden Jung himself getting involved as well. Composition, Yoon Jong Sung, Kwon Jin, Yellow, and Pidley of Mono Tree, and then arrangement again, Yoon Jong Sung and Pidley of Mono Tree. So here we go. The title. Panning pan flutes. Turn it into a synthy one.
Get it, come with me.
Oh. There are some tasty chord things happening here. There's a chiptune. Okay. I like that. I kind of like that as an interlude. Flourish into the chorus is so pretty. It's perfect. I love the way it's so, the vocals are so isolated for this bridge.
Boom, cherry top, cherry top. Boom, cherry top, cherry top. 새롭게 널 향한 내 feeling. Boom, cherry top.
I hear you up there on the vocals.
자신 있지 난 언제나 완성형. 알고 싶어도 너의 A to Z. Boom, cherry top, cherry top. What?
Nah. Okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. tripleS and their subunits are 3 for 3 in title tracks. That's it. It's... Damn. They... So let me try and get a thought together. Okay. The music team behind this whole tripleS project, regardless of what subunit it is, whether it be crystallized, whether it be acid and Asia, whether it be the OT, however many number this had to do for the full unit of tripleS, they understand the musical identity that each group is getting. And it's clear and evident that it's different stylistically. Each and every one of them is different, but they're so well executed. Cherry Talk, like Crystallize, very much has that kind of slower pace that I actually quite like from recent groups. I feel like a recent, especially girl groups, we're getting title tracks that aren't extremely like upbeat and in your face a lot of times. I'm thinking, especially towards the beginning of the song, like around here-ish.
Don't you make me message? Buzzing two fingers, take a swiping up.
It's the pacing and kind of like the throwback synthy feel of it. Very much reminded me of how I felt listening to New Jeans' debut with Attention. Stylistically, very different songs, but it's that feeling of the it's nostalgic, but it's a modern take on it, and it's not too quick. It's a nice song where you just kind of chill with it, and it's a really easy song to listen to. That is Cherry Talk in a nutshell for me, and I love it. It's even comparing them to the other like Rising and Generation. Generation, admittedly, I think in comparison to Cherry Talk was a little, felt like had a bit more of a driving beat to it. La 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 take. But that again was a song that was very much not an extremely quick and in your face like high intensity song. It was a little bit more chill. But Cherry Talk just has a little bit more of that kind of like useful, brighter sparkle to it, while still keeping that laid backness of the pacing of the song. And I love that combination. Because it genuinely, for me, does make it a lot more palatable on first listen, and I love it because of it. tripleS are gonna be huge. Like, the fact that they're able to, even off of, because here's the thing. Before I really got heavily stuck into this whole like K-pop thing, and not just like the reaction thing, but just the genre in general, I would very much call myself a title track merchant, in that, I would listen to the title tracks whenever they dropped, and that's about it. I never would have really listened to the B-sides unless it was from my like favorite groups. But the thing is, if you have a really good title track, and a title track that's very much marketable and kind of appealing to the general masses, more people are going to be intrigued to check out what the B-sides are going to be like. And if tripleS can keep up this level of title track for every unit release or whatever release they have, they're going to gain a lot of fans, I think. Because I'm already hooked. We've listened to an intro and a title track, and I'm already hooked on this project. And that's the signs of a really well-made song for me. And I love it. Yeah, tripleS 3 for 3. Already. I don't even care what the rest of the songs are going to be like. 3 for 3. Might as well get to the B-sides properly. So here we go. Next up, Touch. Lyrics by Jaden Jong. Composed by Hymax Hongdi Limji. Arranged by Hymax and Hongdi. Okay, here we go. break it down at the halftime a little bit. Only for a brief moment, though. I kind of like this cheesy retro synth pop vibe. It reminds me of like slice of life anime endings. And I'd like that back to back to back to back, have all four members come in one short period of time. Oh, I think the harmonies in the background as well. Oh, the bridge is... Oh, got tasty with the chords a little bit. Shout out you on a high note. Bonafide outro. Oh, we only get it for one cycle though. Oh, I would have loved to get that cycle again, but... Wow. I'm not the biggest fan of comparing groups because I feel like it sets myself up for backlash if it gets misconstrued. But Touch has given me kind of like the same bubbly feeling that I got when I heard old Lovelyz music for the first time. Back when I remember listening to Lovelyz music when they first dropped. Like, all this Touch is missing is replace the synth with a string section, and you pretty much have a Lovelyz track from like 2017, 18, and I love that. This is my like type of music where there's a very specific mood I need to be in for this type of music, where it's this kind of like, I've got a little bit of energy, but I kind of want to start winding down. Typically, people might listen to ballads or things like that, but I have a different attachment to ballads. But music like this is just so nice because it's just so inherently happy, or at least neutral. Like, it just feels casual. It's like the musical epitome of casual, and I love it. Also, I mentioned in the middle of it that it reminded me of like a slice of life anime ending. I'm very much a sucker for like really cheesy rom-coms and slice of life animes. And it's got that kind of like, not too fast, but not like a slow casual pace either. And just imagine like, like wide shots of like maybe the main character and like their friend like walking together along like the riverbank, and you see the scrolling scenery in the background, and maybe you see like some cherry blossom trees like passing by in the background, and the petals fall down. It's like, it's got that kind of vibe to it, it's got that kind of usefulness to it, that useful naivety of being a young person who doesn't really have to worry about the kind of fears of the outside world and things like that. It's just, this is the type of vibe that I love when it comes to pop music. Don't get me wrong, I love an EDM track, I love a bubblegum pop song, but music like this, that could be kind of considered, what do they call it, Christian horse girl music or something like that. It tickles all the right spots for me, so we are off to a tremendous start on this album. Next up, okay, Hide and Seek. Lyrics by Piddly and Yellow of Mono Tree, composed by Yunjun Song Kwon A Jin Yellow Piddly of Mono Tree, arrangement by Yunjun Song Piddly of Mono Tree. Lots of mono, actually, that's it for Mono Tree. Very Mono Tree heavy on the first half of the album. I don't mind it though. Here we go, Hide and Seek. Man, they are throwing in a lot of little elements of like the retro music scene. This is very much giving me like 90s vibes again. A little bit of vocal magic. I hear the subtle harmonies in the background as well. Love the way they've taken it down for the second verse. The way the crystallized album so far has done transitions between musical phrases is top tier. Bring in a little bit of a playful bass line one time for the bridge. Okay. Love the record scratches at the end. Really drove home that kind of like 90s vibe of it, which I find really interesting because I'm pretty sure none of the members involved were born in the 90s, which makes me feel old. But and I wasn't even born, like I was born in the late 90s. I was a 97 baby, and that makes me feel old. Gosh. But I kind of like it. There's a kind of indescribable charm to seeing people born after the 90s do a 90s concept because they weren't around for it. Kind of funny. Now, I don't know if that's hypocritical considering I'm someone who was born in 97 who grew up adoring like rock music from the 1980s because I definitely wasn't around for that. Huh. I don't know. I like that though. This like entire aesthetic EP so far, and just kind of Crystallized project in general, just they do transitions really well. Like for me, there really hasn't been any instance in any of the 3+1 songs that we've checked out so far where I felt like, oh man, that chorus crept up on me really quick, or like, oh, that pre-chorus was a little bit too short. Like, sure, maybe the outros are short, but the outro I think is an exception. Each phrase throughout the song, in all the songs, just flows so naturally together. And they just sound so comfortable, and like I haven't really felt any moments where it felt like the vocals were like too like it felt like the vocals were strained or like pushed to their limit or anything like that. It just sounds comfortable. And I quite like that. It does have that useful vibe to it. Combined with like the throwback element of various genres that we've gotten on the album so far, but also with like the playfulness of it, that it's shaping up to be a really nice EP so far. In fact, ooh, would I put it above the 10-member tripleS EP from earlier in the year? Genuinely, for me, it's kind of leaning towards that direction. I quite like this. Now, this is going to be. I reckon this album could be very pick and choosy depending on what type of music you're into because, this type of retro or this type of like Christian horse girl music, if you want to refer to it that way, is very selective when it comes to audiences. That's kind of the nature it is for pop music in general is people are going to lean towards certain genres of music, whether that be EDM or girl crush or bubblegum pop or Christian horse girl music in my case. Because I really got back into K-pop through like, early Oh My Girl and Lovelies and G Friend and groups like oh who else was there? Like La Boom. I very much appreciate music like this where it's a little bit chill, a little bit magical, a little useful, still got the energy to it, but it's not too in your face. It's not like a sugar overload type of vibe. It's kind of giving me the same feelings of Eiley One. Eiley One's kind of doing that like Christian horse music, and I like that. I appreciate that groups are willing to do this type of sound, and I quite like how Crystallize are basing that like Christian horse group music around retro music genres, things like that. It's a nice combination. Kind of rare. I like it though. But that takes us to the next song, Deja-Vu. Now this is the one that's had me so excited. Um, in fact, this next song may be the reason I end up following tripleS properly. So for reference, okay, here. I know this is an album review, but story time, real quick. I haven't followed the story of tripleS from the beginning. I followed their music and that's it. So I don't know the members at all. I know there's like people related to other idols. There's some GP999 contestant in there. It wasn't until S14, as soon as I heard about Sohyun. Look, I will admit the visuals kind of captivated me at first. I won't lie. And that's coming from someone who typically doesn't really focus too much on visuals. If you've ever seen any of the previous videos that I've watched, I rarely talk about idols' visuals. It's just not in my nature to do so. Soyeon's one of the rare cases where that wasn't the case. Having said that, what really intrigued me about Soyeon was the fact that she was composing. She was a in-group composer, choreographer, lyricist, someone who gets involved with their group's like own music. And regardless of if those members are like my biases or not, I will always have a special level of appreciation for in-group composers. So, people like Uji of 17, people like Hongjung of AT, Soyeon of G Idol, who else am I missing? Shoot, I had the list in my head. Oh, Pentagon's Hui, people like that who consistently get in with the producing and the arrangement and the composing of their group, and kind of in the case of people like Hui and Hong and things like that, music for groups not of their own. And with Soyeon, that's kind of the same case because she's on the writing credits of Deja Vu, like across the board, but she's not in Crystallize. She's like the latest tripleS member that got announced, and as soon as I heard that she was involved with a song on Crystallize, I'm like, yep, you're my favorite. I love in-group composers. So ever since this got announced, I've been so excited for it, and frankly, Soyeon might be the reason I end up following tripleS. Very much excited for that adventure. But Deja Vu, here we go. Featuring lyrics by Park So-hyun, S14, Jaden Jung, Jun Ji-yoon, Lua. I don't know how you pronounce that. Foxy? Uh, Annie Mazinga. Interesting name. Composed by Huxley, Annie Mazinga, Soyeon, and Lua. Arranged by Huxley, Annie Mazinga, and Soyeon. So literally, Soyeon took part in every single aspect of the behind the scenes of this song, which is super cool. Shout out Modhouse and Jaden Jung for letting her do this. I think that's so cool. But anyways, here we go. Deja-Vu. Story time over. We got a groove on our hands. This is a freaking groove and a half. Again, the transition is so clean into the second verse. It's so seamless. Absolutely. I love how wide the soundscape for the song is as well. Like, listen to how much stuff is going on. I love that little rhythm change in the bridge. It's really subtle, but it's noticeable. Soyeon bias aside, this song is so cool. It's the thing about Deja-Vu in particular is, so Deja-Vu is kind of like a psychological phenomenon, right? Where your brain decides to remember something twice and you think that you've seen it happen before, or you've seen predicted it before, and it just actually happens in real life. The way the song's been written and produced, it genuinely does feel like kind of in a brain. In that, so you've got the main vocal part and you've got the instrumental part, which is very up close and tight to the ears, and there isn't a lot of reverb on it. But as the song grows and expands and adds layers, those layers are mixed so that they're farther away from your ears. And it really establishes the soundscape of this song and just how wide of a soundstage this song really is taking up. Because it's not just like one source of music coming from around your ears. You really feel the depth of the song when you listen to it, whether it's the little ad libs that reverberate out into the distance, way in the back of the mix, or it's the vocals up close and personal, the instrumentals that reverb towards the back. You feel the three-dimensionality of the soundstage on the song, and I think that's so cool, especially on a song that's titled Deja-Vu. It's kind of, I think it's just a nice little subtle tie-in, you know, deja vu, kind of mental space, human psychology, the human brain up close and far out wide, unknown territories, the human brain, things like that. I love little details like that. This song's just so nice. And you know, like I will hand on heart admit that this is probably my personal bias is probably affecting how I'm perceiving this song. But this might be my favorite B-side on the album. I feel like an unfaithful fan for saying that because personal bias. I know personal bias is getting in the way of that, but I genuinely do think Deja Vu might be my favorite song on or favorite B-side on the album so far. Dang. Okay. Well, looks like it's time to dive into the tripleS rabbit hole it is. I will see you all in like 3 years' time. No, I'm kidding. We have one more song to go. This is the crystallized version of Dimension. Now, if I'm correct in thinking, this was one of the songs from the Acid Angels of Asia EP. So I guess each unit is going to have their own take on Dimension. That'd be really cool. That's a really cool thing. I'll be curious to see how the crystallized version is different. I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit more brighter, maybe not as aggressive as the AAA one. But here we go.
오늘처럼 흩날린 빛이 눈부시게 주위를 감싸와 우와 황홀한 이 기분 always you 새벽 내 창가에 비친 익숙한
Lots of reverb.
낯선 내 silhouette alright 설레임 나도 모르게 시작되는 dimension 섞이는 emotion 숨겨왔던 모든 걸 다 말해주고 싶게 해 눈을 맞춰 only you 너도 날 볼 수 있게 the way that I want it more 내가 가는 dimension 강해지는 emotion 거부할 수 없어 난 너와 나의 demotion 가까워진 reversion ever extension 자꾸 나만의 세상이
I wish the vocals were mixed a little bit further forward or more prominent because they're being overpowered by the synths a little bit. It is brighter. It is a little bit lighter than the Acid Angels of Asia version, right? Yeah, it just feels like the synth is too far forward in the mix to hear the vocals. But it's definitely not as aggressive as the Acid Angels of Asia version. Although we have to wait for the bridge for that, don't we? This is most definitely different. some really nice harmonies interlaced in that chorus, which makes it sad because I want to hear it more. Aw. But I will give him this. It is very much stylistically in line with the rest of the album. It does have that kind of brightness to it, that bright youthfulness to it, while also not being too in your face and overly energetic. It's got a hint of like the retro-ness of the rest of the album. I mean, like the 90s retro-ish kind of synthy beat to it, while still having similarities to the Acid Angel of Asia version of the song, same song. Interesting that we didn't get a ballad. I'd figured kind of, well, I guess that after around what Touch and Hide and Seek, if we were going to get a little bit kind of softer but useful type of sound, that we maybe get a ballad of sorts, but we never got one, which is I think is really interesting. I know ballads might not get a whole lot of traction from the general public, just because I think ballads in general are not as general public friendly as kind of an upbeat song would be. I just really like a ballad. I just find something so cathartic about a ballad, so I wish we got one. But I'm not entirely upset by that because the rest of the album is just that good. It's a really cohesive project. It's a solid debut. It showcased a lot, whether it be the vocals, the style of music that they can pull off, the range of the vocals, the pacing of the vocals, the tonality of the vocals, and like different like vocal color, things like that. I like it. I really do enjoy this. Man, what a good time. I think I might have forgotten to say the song credits for the album, or not. Yeah, song credits for Dimension. And I forget. Actually, you know what? Let's actually find out. Where's Acid Angel from Asia? I definitely called him Acid Angel of Asia during this album review at some point, so I apologize for that. But it was by bad Treon Kyung, Isagera, Jaden Jong, San Yijin of 153. Oh, so it's not the same. Oh, it's close, but it's. Oh, no, it is. It's just labeled differently. Oh, that's cool though. I wonder how many. I wonder how many versions of Dimension we're gonna get. Because what? There's. I don't actually know what the story is with tripleS, and especially like what is it called? Lovelution and Evolution that's coming out soon. I don't know if those are again going to be separate subunits because I've yet to catch up that far into the tripleS lore. I'm not gonna call it lore, but like you get the whole point. Like I don't know what the process behind tripleS is at this point in time. But if every subunit is going to get its own version of Dimension, I think that might be a really interesting thing to follow. Just if that is the case, then the song Dimension is going to be the benchmark to define what each group's sound is going to be like. And that is something I've never seen happen before in a K-pop group is, well, one, a group that's this big and having a whole bunch of subunits. It's like saying, that's like giving one song to every single NCT subunit and having them do it in their own way, like DJJ, U127, Dream, Wavy, all getting, or what's coming up next? NCT Tokyo, something like that. Every single one of them getting one song to make their own way. I think that's such a cool concept. But I've waffled for way too long. It's been 45 minutes, and four words to describe this album. I enjoyed it tremendously. The tripleS project in general has just never failed to deliver for me. Every single thing they've put out in terms of their music has really captivated me. And frankly, I am I, as a very casual fan of this group, am now, thanks to this album, ready to commit time and brain power into learning this group. That is what this project has done for me. So thank you, tripleS. This was tremendous fun. Thank you, Wavies, for watching. If you made it this far, thank you for dealing with my incessant rambling. I tend to do that on these. It's just kind of how I go about things in a way. This does have me excited for the MV whenever that drops. I don't actually know what the updated schedule for that is, but very much excited for that indeed. But in the meantime, that is it from me today. Thank you all for watching. Said that again. One last request from me today. Let us work together as a community to bring a little bit of extra happiness back into the world. Whether that be, checking in with your friends and family, picking up a piece of trash on the street, holding the door open for somebody. Just something, one small act of kindness to maybe brighten up someone else's day today. And know that if you are ever going through a tough time, whatever the reason it may be, wherever you are in the world, even though at the end of the day I am just some guy on the internet who waffles about music in his free time, know that I will always be a friend, ally, and a shoulder to lean on whenever you need me. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, spread the love, and I'll see you next time.